Starting, all attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Irene Varley, Director of Education for the Dibble Institute, and joining me today is our webinar organizer, Kathy Guidry. Our topic today is the greatest gift to a child, a healthy parental relationship with Dixie Zittlow. Due to some technical issues, this broadcast is being re-recorded without an audience. If you have any questions or comments, you may direct them to us via email at relationshipskills@dibbleinstitute.org or directly to my own email, irene@dibbleinstitute.org. Those addresses will be available at the very end of this broadcast. The Dibble Institute is a nonprofit organization dedicated to equipping young people with the skills and knowledge they need to develop healthy romantic relationships now and for their futures. Charlie Dibble, as seen here on the screen, our founder, was an aeronautical engineer who dedicated his retirement years working with young people. From them, he had heard many painful stories following their own parents' relationship issues. It was a time the divorce rate was reaching its peak, and Charlie was very concerned with the decreasing models of healthy relationships teens had to emulate. Being a natural problem solver, remember that engineering background, Charlie searched for solutions and found there were few programs addressing relationship issues for youth at this time. And so Charlie, with the support of fellow businessmen and educators, founded the Dibble Fund, now known as the Dibble Institute. There is more information on Charlie on our website. Just go to About Us on our website toolbar across the top to learn more. We feel Charlie would be very proud of the work being done by you, our supporters, who represent various youth programming, ranging from health classes and clinics, school classrooms, counseling, community organizations, Native American programs, faith communities, and just any place that youth are gathered. One issue we all work towards is to help our youth create successful futures for themselves. We all agree that learning about the information of healthy, or I'm sorry, the formation of healthy relationships is something everyone can benefit from. Let me just expand a bit on what we as an institute believe about the issues affecting developing teens and young adults. Let's start with marriage. We trust the research that points to the healthy outcomes of children growing up in two healthy parent homes. This is not to say we are anti-divorce. Our aim is to, again, prepare individuals on healthy relationships leading to healthy marriages or even healthy, committed, long-lasting relationships. And then there's cohabitation. If you were to ask a young teen today what the norm is in their adult life, it is to live together even before marriage. We acknowledge that there is a large percentage of couples who do or will cohabitate, and no relationship education teaches them that there are smarter ways to do so, to be intentional about their choices, and to develop the ability to recognize the stage and health of their relationship. And finally, sexual orientation. All young people benefit by learning how to develop healthy relationship skills. We trust those skills lead youth to healthy decision making, and that is our goal. Our programs are adaptable to be used with all audiences as they are inclusive. So now let's begin. I want to welcome again my colleague, Dixie Zittlow, Director of Outreach for the Dibble Institute, and today's presenter. Many of you may have met Dixie at the national conferences or fatherhood conferences. There was one in Las Vegas this past year where she attended. She is an experienced educator of 22 years, teaching history and literature in classical education institutions, 14 of those 22 years. She is trained and certified in numerous healthy relationship curricula, and she has worked with at-risk teens, providing healthy relationship education for the last 7 years. Before working for the Dibble Institute, she was a federal grant manager where she established and trained facilitators in healthy relationship programs in Wisconsin. Her speaking engagements address topics of domestic and dating violence, the way to forgiveness, learning to ask for what you want, and excavating your true self. And finally, Dixie was also a CASA, that is, court-appointed special advocate, volunteer, advocating for neglected or abused children. A wonderful background. And Dixie, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
Well, thank you, Irene, for those kind words. And again, welcome everyone. I'm very excited to be here today. It matters that you're here today also because you care. You care about families and family formation because parents are important to their children, and it matters. It matters because children want to live with healthy families. Right now, we know that 41% of children are born outside of marriage. 15 million, or 1 in 3 children, are without fathers, and 5 million without mothers. We ask ourselves, how many children want to live with a healthy family? 100%. I can't imagine we'd answer any other way. Family formation is important to the well-being of children, teens, adults, and our communities. The challenge is that when children live with parents who have unhealthy relationships, it affects their health, their education, economic well-being, and their future view of themselves. Parents' relationships affect their children. We want those that we serve to understand the importance of parents and fathers in the child's life and the importance of cooperative co-parenting. Today we are considering the greatest gift to a child is a healthy parental relationship. The first step for parents is to see their relationship through the eyes of a child. Using skill-based healthy relationship education programs teaches skills along with information for making some wiser choices. It is empowering, encouraging them to not just go along with the flow, but to learn how to slow down and to consider the risks and the consequences of their actions. Healthy relationship education teaches teens and young adults to recognize several things. To recognize the characteristics of healthy relationships, to be aware of emotional and physical abuse in relationships, to discover qualities that they desire in a romantic partner, how to set goals and understand the economic, health, and other benefits that there are for children in marriage when it's possible, and cooperative co-parenting relationships, and to learn communication skills and conflict resolution skills. Today we are going to explore these 3 things: the influence the parent's relationship plays in a child's life, how to use that knowledge of what a child needs for a brighter future when planning programs for young people, and ways to connect healthy relationship education to healthy parenting or co-parenting. The parent's relationship influences a child's life, as we have already said, and this doesn't seem so surprising to most of us. More likely, it seems like common sense. But sometimes age, experience, or understanding inhibits us from seeing just how far reaching this may be. What does a child want? Well, let's imagine that we're going to create an ad for eBay or Craigslist. And let's also imagine that you are a soon-to-be child and that you're going to identify the kind of parents, family life that you want. You're looking for a family, and you may ask yourself as that unborn child, what kind of characteristics do I want in a mother or a father? What kind of relationship status would I like them to have? Are material things important? What about community support? Jobs, education? Remember, you're writing this ad as an unborn child. So, an example of this would look like what? This is a great exercise to do with young people or parents, teen parents, or parents in general. A healthy parental relationship helps parents offer these types of benefits for their child. Next slide, Kathy. Maybe energy, more energy, time, money, or even a stress-free home. So what is the impact of parental relationships on children? I think that we can all agree that healthy, stable parental relationships offer a child economic, emotional, and social benefits. And two parents can provide more income for safe housing, better quality food, school and school activities, fun, very important, not only to the child, but to the family and family bonding. A healthy parental relationship offers a role model for children in communication, love, gender roles, empathy, work ethics, and the emotional and social advantages to a healthy parental relationship. Offers time for reading together, playing, doing homework, all of those types of things. It also enhances the parent-child bonding and understanding gender roles and healthy boundaries. The question is the opposite also true? Again, we could say yes, there can be a negative impact on a child. Further, unhealthy parental-child relationships can take their toll on children. According to the Journal of Adolescent Health, low levels of parental support are hypothesized to be a major causal contributor to emotional and physical health problems into adulthood. A parent is a parent for life. And according to Paul Amato in this article, he says, whether or not parents stay together, they are parents for life. Their children depend on them. Parents who have healthy relationships with each other are better able to cooperate and work together for their child's emotional and financial well-being. And non-custodial parents who have a good relationship with their children may feel a greater commitment to providing for their needs, including paying child support consistently. Let me reinforce our belief here that there are many single parents who are heroes. And we believe that children are not just statistics. And while this is true and what we believe, we also know that unplanned childbearing and unhealthy parental relationships can lead to, most likely, inequality outcomes for children. So we want to say that healthier co-parenting is key to lessening these negative effects. While both parents are important, I'd like to address the fathers to speak directly to them. Now, as you're listening to this, I want you to be thinking about finishing this phrase. Being a good father means what? The media has a lot to say on this. We see it in our movies, in our books that we read, and especially in our music. Artists like Eminem or Kelly Clarkson, just to name two, have plenty to say in their songs about the impact that the absence of a father or an unhealthy relationship with a parent can have on their life long term. So, why do I address the fathers here? Who cares? I believe you do, because family formation is a part of fulfilling your missions, serving your participants, and addressing the needs of the whole family. So, what does positive parenting mean for girls? We know that it influences their view of men. Her experiences will impact how she sees not only her father, but future husband or partner and co parent. How can she expect them to act and to respond to different situations? It will impact how she sees herself and how the type of relationships that she will be looking for. And we know that negative fathering also impacts her just as much. What does it mean to boys? Positive fathering is an example of what courage can look like, what being a father looks like, what a co-parent role model is. We know statistically that fatherless communities tend to have a higher rate of aggression and violence, and mothers in those communities have a harder time directing their sons. Negative fathering can lead to more examples of domestic violence and certainly poor male role models for these young men. Healthy relationships of parents has an impact on their children in so many ways. The second thing we want to discuss today or explore today is the use of knowledge of what a child needs for a brighter future in planning programs for young people. We know that family formation, healthy relationships are important. So, how do we utilize that information? If children benefit socially, in health, scholastically, emotionally, and economically, then we can't ignore the opportunity to include healthy relationship education programming in our agencies or organizations. And if children will be teens, and if teens will be parents, and if parents will have children who will be teens someday, then there is no avoiding this discussion. If you work with Responsible Fatherhood, the Marriage Initiative, maybe community centers or outreach with even just one segment of the family, in schools or churches or Head Starts, to name just some of the services, and you provide for one part of the family, you are impacting the rest of the family, the whole of the family. So planning includes healthy relationship education for teens and young adults, and this can boost your program. Simply, skills impact the whole family. It can change their course. It gives them other options for children, teens in the family, pregnant teens, and even adult parents. Basically, when parents learn healthy relationship skills, they are learning to communicate better, have better life skills, know how to problem solve more effectively, how to complain better, and express that in a better way. Set some goals, set some better goals. It can help them to break the patterns of their past and helps them to make some healthier choices, to be a better role model. In a study promoting father engagement with children, we see this. The results also suggest that curriculum that focuses on the risk and the protective factors in multiple aspects of family life was successful in producing positive changes in the quality of both father-child relationships, and when mothers participated fully as part of the couples group, in maintaining both parents' relationship satisfaction. So whether the parents were together or apart, it is a dual responsibility of the couple to provide a healthy environment for these children. And what should we use to focus on the risk and protective factors in the multiple aspects of a family's life, you ask? Well, using evidence-based healthy relationship education programs gives you the confidence that risk and protective factors such as healthy and safe and what a child needs and wants, communication skills and conflict resolution skills, decision making, addresses all of these. Healthy relationship education programs addresses all of these and a lot more. And you can also rest assured that these evidence-based programs from Dibble are listed on the National Registry of Evidence-Based Programs and Practices. They're researched, they're evaluated right now through Auburn University in Alabama and through the University of Louisville in Kentucky. And they have been tried and implemented by Healthy Marriage Initiative and Responsible Fatherhood grantees, as well as PrEP, Rape Prevention, Upward Bound, and Teen Pregnancy Program grantees. The message is, even when parents don't like each other, even if they are not together, even though there may be drama, they want the best for their children. When they can put their children's well-being first, they are open to learning information and skills. They can change their relationship pattern. They can make the best of their current relationship and co-parenting relationships. They can make healthier choices for their future relationships. It can help them to take the drama out of their life. The last thing we want to consider today is the link connecting healthy relationship education to healthy parenting or co-parenting relationships. Creating and sustaining a healthy parent relationship in today's culture may look a little different than it did 50 years ago. Family structures have definitely changed. But what hasn't changed is that healthy parental relationships matter to the child. Well, there are challenges in all relationships when parents aren't together and they are co-parenting. There are as many opportunities. Co-parenting challenges. What are some of the significant challenges that maybe your program has to deal with? Some of the answers that I have heard from participants and people out in the field are communication, most certainly, conflict resolution skills, emotional healing from breakups, getting out of unhealthy relationships, and then how to navigate that hurt, how to set some new goals. What about money matters? So how are these challenges addressed?
And Dixie, can I add
Absolutely,
something
Irene.
here?
Mm-hmm.
When you put that list out, I think one of the most important things is that in healing that forgiveness factor of what does that mean? How does that impact it? Especially when they are no longer together and a new person has entered the life of that child.
Right, right. Setting those new goals and learning how to navigate a new relationship. Absolutely, absolutely. And that challenge, Irene, along with these other ones, are met with some opportunities. And part of those opportunities is, or that opportunity is identifying what the child's need is. What does that child need? The focus being on them. Learning how to apply some of these healthy relationship skills so that both parents can better co-parent this child. And then working on this in spite of, as you said, Irene, the hurt or whatever emotions that they're dealing with as parents. Working on it is important. So as we considered before, and what a child wants, healthy relationships and involve parents and fathers, we saw that relationship troubles with mothers form barriers for those fathers' involvement. And the best predictor for involved fathers, and I'll even say here parents, is a healthy and committed relationship. Learning communication and conflict management skills to co-parent is essential, whether these parents are together or apart. Healthy relationship education is the link that we're looking for here, because healthy relationship education builds awareness of the power that individuals have in their relationship and in their lives with their children. That link is forged in the womb, and it's lengthened with each year of life. The link is for a lifetime, whether the parents are together or not. How do we make this message relevant to those that we serve? I'll encourage you to meet these teens, young adults, and parents exactly where they are. To remember that most everyone wants the best for their child. Showing them what their decisions look like through the eyes of a child can help them to reach out for resources that you, an organization or an agency, can provide. And that the message here is to provide a model and to develop a plan for success. I'm going to relate to you a story, an actual story of something that happened to me on a plane not too long ago. I was sitting next to an elderly gentleman who asked me what I did for a living, and I explained to him, and he was very excited, which I was happy for. And then he explained to me how he and his family and community reach out to young men and young women as they begin to date or go out together. He said that when a young man comes to the house of a young lady in his family or community, that there is a group of men waiting for this young man. Now, when I first heard this, I thought, oh, this sounds quite intimidating. You have pictures that flash through your mind. But as he continued telling me this story, it was very moving. He said that as the young man comes to the door, he's invited in to sit down with all of these men, brothers, uncles, fathers, grandfathers, men of the community. And they tell this young man that they have his back, that they are there for him, to support him in the decisions he makes, in the relationships that he builds. So while he knows that they're paying attention, there's no doubt about that, he also knows that there's someone watching out for him as well. And for many young men, this is not something that they're used to. I was really encouraged to hear this model being implemented in a community here in the US. And I'm sure that there are many other examples of this, but I wanted to share that with you so that you can see that there's possibilities out there that you can share with others that you work with. All of these types of things can be done by also implementing healthy relationship educational programs with the teens and young adults that you focus on. Irene, is there anything you'd like to add at this time?
I think, one key piece is whenever we hear any resistance about healthy relationship education, the first thing that comes to mind is you're going to teach sex education.
Mm-hmm.
And Sex education, if any of our members of the audience are in clinical settings and health settings, that relationships cannot be, the relationship education piece cannot be separate from sex education, or even in health education, that it is a key component. Relationships, we are all bound. The brain is wired for relationship, and therefore we all desire it, and it really impacts our decisions. So it
Mhm.
is key to have that conversation with our young people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as I'm sure you have, Irene, heard countless times from young people, that some of them have received the sex education, but they don't make that connection necessarily to how that is a part of relationships. And so when those things are put together for them, they start to make their decisions differently and feel much more empowered about making their decisions.
And
Um,
one other thing makes me wonder today, especially in the most recent week of when we hear of young people lashing out with their peers,
mhm,
the anger that is stored inside. And I don't know, I don't know of any research in particular that speaks to this, but it makes me wonder what their family life is, what they have experienced. Have
mhm,
they viewed a loving home? And so many of our children today don't have that. And,
mhm,
when we look at future, how they go out into the world and how they respond to others, not knowing how to handle their own emotions
mhm,
and what to do with that, it just makes me wonder.
mhm, mhm. Yes. Another thing that, as you said, one of the challenges when people hear this information about healthy relationships and they hear like the broadcast that we have today, they are hearing the words mother, father. And while that may be the typical parental relationship or
Mm-hmm.
parent situation, these same skills are important for same gender um, families and in families where you're combining families. There's no one that's excluded in this discussion about healthy parental relationships and healthy relationship education. As I pointed out before, it's, I don't want to say a vicious circle, but it is certainly a circle of the child, the teen, the parent, and back around again. And it impacts the entirety of a community. So I want to point out that that is really why implementing healthy relationship education for teens and young adults is so important to the work of every kind of agency and organization that is out there.
I agree, and why the emphasis is on long term committed relationships.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, to wrap up then, so the three things that we covered today was exploring the influence that these parental relationships play in a child's life, and then how to utilize that knowledge of what a child needs for a brighter future when it comes to planning your programs. And then we considered the link between the healthy relationship education and the healthy parenting or co-parenting relationships. And thank you for inviting me today and for sharing this time with us. If you have any questions, as Irene has already said, we'd be happy to answer them or help you in any way that we can.
And listening to this webinar live was, I believe, free shipping. Kathy, can you speak to how people who are seeing this after the fact, how this free shipping works?
Oh, yes, they still get free shipping if you're watching this webinar, and it will be 30 days from the actual airing of the webinar. And it does save you 10%. Just make sure you use that code webinar when you check out.
Oh, thanks, Kathy. I think
Mhm.
that's an important clarification. And here's how you can connect back to us. There's our website, and on that website is an opportunity to subscribe to our newsletter. Uh, there is great information of keeping you up to date on the latest research and funding opportunities and also product development. We invite you to definitely like us on Facebook and LinkedIn. And then again, here are our email addresses and our webinar. As you know, there are other archived webinars on our website that may be of interest to you. Please check with that. And we so thank you. There's a brief survey. Is this survey available after on this session?
Actually, it is not.
Okay. So thank you so much for viewing us today, and look forward to May webinar on Money Habitudes 2 for at-risk youth, what money means and why it matters. You know, there is so many opportunities that for teaching teens about financial skills, but at the core of that is, what are the triggers? What does money mean to you? And we are going to cover that. I think you'll find that very, very interesting and a great platform before teaching the necessary skills to manage money. Thank you so much, and I appreciate your viewing us today and look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.